Call meeting to order. Open laws have been met.
Yes.
Okay,
Now approve the 6-item agenda.
okay.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, resolution regarding the updated ordinance for county administrator. Oh, there she is. I was gonna say, where did she go?
No, I'm here. I apologize. I'm trying to pull up the agenda.
Okay.
So,
It should be there.
okay. No, this is, I was just pulling it online. So I made the two changes that were recommended. And so what you have should be those changes. And just if you're reading the,
Where are they?
and I have
It's in
hard
that-
copies if you
that-
need them.
That bundle that you had.
I have a question though.
Mhm.
If you remember, I said there was one or two more things but I couldn't find them at that meeting that day. I found one of them. It was in regard to the audit committee that you and I had discussed about putting some kind of an option in there for something more for, did you come across anything for that?
So
Mhm.
I did. So I think that one's gonna be largely up to you guys because it's not statutory.
Okay,
So what are you looking at?
well, something, okay, right now, I look at the audit committee, it's, I won't call it useless, but very inefficient to pay people to come down here to audit just county board members and dog damage claims. That's the only duties assigned to the audit committee in this piece of paper,
In the ordinance?
in what she's written, yep. So, now granted, the full audit that we do, that as I understand it by statutes has to go to the administrator. Am I correct on that
It's a budgetary issue.
issue? Yeah,
It's paying the bills is what we're talking
Right.
about.
yeah.
That's just
Right.
the administrator piece.
Yeah, and then the sheriff is the final okay on that.
So,
And I'm thinking something along the line of coordination or discussion with in regard to these things on a regular basis. One of the reasons being, if we leave it to strictly exec finance, I've always thought that this coming in for an audit gets me to meet other people one-on-one and gets other board members familiarized with what's going on, if nothing else. And I think that's worthwhile having that go on, but we need some kind of purpose to do it.
Yeah, if you're not gonna do a complete audit,
Right.
it's not worth it.
No. But even if I have no clue how to start writing it.
So what I would say is for that section, and I apologize because I am just pulling that up now, but my recommendation, that's not something that has to be done today. So let's pull it out and then let's make sure it's what you guys want.
Pull the whole audit committee
The
section out
audit
of
committee
here.
out,
Okay,
and then make it what it needs to be, and then bring it back next month. Yeah, it
Okay.
should be in there. I'm just pulling it up.
So you'll have to put an agenda item.
what's that?
You'll have to put an agenda item on the next meeting.
Right,
If you want to keep
yeah.
talking.
It's 11.
Thank you.
Page 11?
Okay, I gotta go through it.
I wasn't looking your way. Do you disagree with my thinking on this or?
I mean, if the administrator's gonna be approving and signing the bills, then what are we doing?
Well, yeah, unless there's some coordination where, I don't know how far we go with this, where she can come back to this audit committee and say, hey, I have a problem with this, what do you think? Or any of those type of
Well, you
Type
could
of things.
definitely go to just once a month instead.
I would think so, yeah. But,
Or once a quarter?
Well, if it's gonna, board claims come every month. That's what's in the reviewing it, if acceptable purpose board, county board members' claims and bills for approval. I don't know, that's still in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no change.
But we're taking that out for now.
Take that out too?
Isn't that what you said, Susan?
The whole audit committee section, she said.
yeah,
Okay.
put the whole audit
Okay.
committee section off for further, and bring it back.
Yeah, my understanding is J is gonna be removed from today's consideration, and then it's going to, we'll bring it back, but my recommendation and also my question is to bring it back to executive so that we're looking at this fully,
Right.
if we could. and get the direction.
You guys put that on the next plan. Next time.
You said it was J?
J, page 11, it's line 8 through 15.
8 to 15.
Does anybody else have anything to bring up there? It's not the end of my issues, but it's the end of my questions.
They got some issues, but bring them up, get them out, we wanna get out of
No,
here.
I didn't make notes on anything else. We've talked about highway, but she
Yeah.
says that there's a way we can, I'll call it, come in the back door and still do a lot of these
Yeah.
things. So,
That's why
I don't know, does highway need to be pulled out right now too then?
Highway, I wouldn't recommend pulling it out.
Okay.
I think highway, you have to keep in mind that you're reading this in conjunction with each other. So,
Yeah.
for example, I'm on page 1 and it's 2.048. You know, that, these committees are still going to have the right to receive, financial reports. I think by the nature of a committee, committees are gonna have opinions and they're gonna express it, which is healthy, that's the purpose.
Yep.
And you're still gonna have input on during the preparation. I'm just an 8 on the annual budget. And there is, without a doubt, you have the final approval come every November. So the day-to-day may change, but the later ones may, the day-to-day may change, but the ultimate authority is still with the county board. And so highway, you can still ask for as many financial reports as you want that are appropriate, that the commissioner is able to provide, but it does reflect the statute, so I would.
I get it. I was saying, in my mind, there was issues, but I knew that the statute, we can't really do anything about it, other than possibly at a later date doing, you mentioned, purchasing policy.
Yes, the
And some of
procurement
those things
ordinance,
that could
absolutely, with
come
review
back
of
in.
that and RFP
Right.
and template and so forth.
Where's that procurement?
It's not in
Government.
there, it's not
It's
in
not.
there.
Oh.
Right now, it's a policy, it's not an
Okay.
ordinance.
Anybody else have
Yeah.
anything?
Connecting to
I went through it like we did, and,
stealing it myself.
I think we need to probably have some more discussion over time about how the policies that we write will support and hold accountable that position of statute requirements. I mean, it's all, like I said, it's all about policy. We can add a policy that puts a stringent control on what the administrator has power to do. We can limit that, but they still have the responsibility through policy.
Anything else?
Ready to sign it?
What's that?
We're ready to vote on it? Is that what we're?
That's, well,
Bridget, you got any more?
Good. So if I may ask a question,
okay.
the emergency management portions are near the end. That was one that you might want to review later on, especially once the administrator is on board. But that's not my decision, that's for,
And that's, I didn't bring that up, and I didn't, so because I'm not on emergency management, I'm very limited knowledge of it. I was hoping somebody else would take that, but, and
What section is that?
so it's page 6, it starts on line E. And I'm gonna pull out my memo as well. So this is one that it might be helpful to have the emergency management director, the sheriff, the administrator, and so forth sit down and talk about what this should look like, cause we're talking about several different statutes and several different laws and the policy you guys want going forward with that. So I wanted to highlight that that's an issue.
We mentioned that earlier.
But it's not something, it's not black and white like a statutory issue might be.
So you're talking about statute 323.14?
Yes, that's one of them.
So we should send this back to law enforcement.
I think that one regarding the emergency management, I think it would be helpful to get their opinion. With coming new to the county, if I had a magic wand or something like that, I guess I would have liked to have their input on this particular section. And I would recommend that as
So
well.
we'll pull that out of the
If that is
adoption for
okay with you
tonight, for
guys.
tonight.
Can you give us an example of what you would maybe be concerned with if it didn't change?
So I'm gonna pull up I'm gonna pull up the statute in and of itself, because I remember thinking and looking at it and being concerned about the type of emergency authority that would be given. So the chief executive officer, acting executive officer shall exercise. So the chief, it doesn't say administrator, it just says chief executive officer. But that person has the ability to exercise by proclamation of all the powers under the preceding parts. So in summary, they have some ability to exercise the emergency management, whether it's a state of emergency, so forth, those powers that might really need a little bit more review.
Right, so what you're saying or suggesting, and I forgive me if I'm putting words in your mouth, you were saying that the administrator could potentially declare an emergency without any consultation of the board because it's vague.
Right,
So you're saying we could do such maybe a policy that says any emergencies declarations must be approved by a majority of the board before enacting or something like that in a new policy that.
I think we need to look at it, absolutely, that's exactly, there's
Well,
a couple other
basically-
ones there, but I think that's an area, I'm sorry to
Nope, no problem.
but that's an area where if emergency management needs to act, they need to act quickly and obviously appropriately. And I wanna make sure that we have the right guidelines and rules there. And it's not my area, so that's what I wanna make sure we
get
get
it.
there.
I agree, I think we should remove that section and have more discussion on the law enforcement committee with that.
It has been, like Dan Schreiner was emergency management director for years, so if there's flooding issue or something like that, he's the one who made the call.
Right.
No one else.
Well, I think we should talk.
And I don't know, do we call him the director?
I
We
think-
call him emergency management director or manager or
They
what?
changed that after Schreiner left. They even made Dustin part-time for a while.
Yeah, so what do they call an emergency manager now?
Director, I
He is
think,
still a
even though
director.
there's no, yeah.
So basically, he's the one that makes the call. And I know I signed for the grants and stuff, so I signed the grant.
But as it stands right now, that would not be the case unless we change something in this
Well,
policy.
it's kind of in it already, but it should go through, like, we should send it back to law enforcement, just clean it up.
Yeah, it needs a little tweaking.
Yeah,
And there's no reason why we shouldn't have the administrator in with that, and that
Right.
we can do that next month.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm good with that.
yeah. So we're gonna remove that till next month? Okay. Okay, I'll make a motion to remove it till next month, along with, what's the other one we're doing now?
Jay,
Audit.
audit,
Audit committee.
audit.
Second.
David, you seconded it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we all understand what we're saying. We're gonna move this forward for full county board tonight with the exception of audit and emergency management.
So will that be an amendment to the resolution of that?
Have to get it orally.
but
I just let them know.
okay.
The good news is the text of it is fine, it's just a little untouchable with the attachments.
Just read those sections, it's
Yeah.
J and what's the emergency management one?
E.
E,
Thank you.
We all on the same page now?
it's on page 6, item 6 through 31. Unless it goes on.
So it stops at the end.
Yeah.
Property goes to the next. Line 6 to 31.
We're all good with how we're set up with the, what we're leaving out?
Right.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carry. Moving on.
That was item E and J.
Our next meeting is February 5th, 8:30.
So I gotta put that one.
Yep.
I will adjourn this meeting.